Hey, this is Ken Casey from the Dropkick Murphys, and I love the Grandstanders! Take it away, kid!
Hello, welcome to another edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman, and I'm joined by my usual cohorts, Uncle Joe McLaughlin, and he's the barber to the stars, Hollywood Pete McGilvery. Well, first of all, we want to thank our sponsor, Dante's Pizzeria, 415 Harvard Street in Brookline, Mass. Brought over the pasta and the pizza tonight. It was very nice.
We
and
should bring that on sometime and so people can see how good it is.
All right, yeah, we all have to kind of like a food show, right? Like that terrible food show in Nesson. Yeah. Oh, no, maybe we won't.
What, the Phantom Gourmet?
Yeah, so no, something with, Billy Costa.
Sam Horn or something?
Sam Horn.
Yeah, Sam needs a job.
To spice it up. Yeah, no, maybe not food on the show. But, of course, everyone go to Dante's Pizzeria. Just go ahead and say hello to David. He's a good friend of ours. All right, so we start the show with, of course, the Boston Red Sox, who have won 11 of 13 games. But... boys, I would say there's still a lot of questions to be answered with this team. We're in first place, but do you feel good about the where we're at right now?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, we're at as far as standings wise, but you feel like this is a team that can go deep into the playoffs?
Well, that depends, I think, on who, Mr. Price, getting him back. I think to go deep in the playoffs. However, it seems like Porcello's coming around.
Yeah, he's been better.
Pomerantz is due for a dip, but let's just say he's there. And, Mr. Sale just makes it must-watch TV.
Right. So Sale's a great equalizer. No matter
hopefully
what.
He can last. There's still 3 months to go.
Yeah.
And we don't trust John Farrell to manage Chris Sale in any way.
No.
That's too great of a task for Mr.
He's got the whip
Farrell.
out. He's going to ride that horse and try to get as many innings as he can out of him.
Because he's pitched meaningful games. He's had to stop streaks and stuff like that all year.
Yeah, well, Sunday night he pitched a game.
against the
He
Yankees.
obviously pitched great. I mean, he didn't get the victory, but if he doesn't pitch the way he did,
If he doesn't get the support,
they're not winning any games.
But it kept him in the game, and it ended up being a really big victory, too.
But the problem is, and Red Sox fans, you have to remember this. We lost that series last year against Cleveland because we were the away team, okay? We started in Cleveland, and everything went poorly. We've had a great record at home this year, a huge advantage being at home. We need that home field advantage against the Indians, who will be playing in the first round. And so, unfortunately, you may see Chris Sale pitching meaningful games late in September because of that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it all means something.
It may not be, we may have clinched a division, but we need that home field advantage.
Well, I think last year, he managed his team to stay healthy and not to win, and it cost him a little bit, right?
Well, right. Well,
down the stretch.
Yeah.
They sacrificed a few games. But I think the team is better prepared this year. It was like an eye-opener for some of the young kids.
Oh, yeah.
Mookie didn't know where he was. Xander.
No.
They are a little better built this year, I think.
All those young kids.
Well, they don't have
in
Big
them.
Poppy, so, I mean, they're not better. And this team still feels like everybody's trying to get on base because Big Poppy will come up and drive in them all, right?
Yeah,
it still
Scott,
feels that way.
But when was the last time you saw Big Poppy in the newspapers? You saw it the whole first half of the season.
Yeah.
I know, but the
Now he's
team is still built around Big Poppy, even though he's not there, right? They don't hit home runs, and please explain that to me. All of Major League Baseball, everybody's hitting home runs,
More home
except
runs
for the
than ever
Boston Red
before.
Sox.
Which is hard to believe.
Right, and everybody's
Historically.
right, and everybody's home run numbers from last year are down this year. And I go back to the Chili Davis situation. Why is he the hitting coach when everyone has performed under the level that they performed last year, other than maybe Benintendi?
Well, maybe it's maybe it's a matter of perspective because last year everyone way overperformed their previous career best. Almost all 9. And so maybe this is just coming back to the mean.
Yeah, but it's a league now where guys they don't care about strikeouts anymore. They're trying to launch it all the time. The league-wise, not the Red Sox. League-wise.
Right, but you get guys like Mookie Betts, who, I mean, obviously second in the MVP voting last year, but he's taken literally 2 steps back this year, right? I mean,
Especially on
This
the
year, though.
Yeah, but he's
Nice
not
year.
hitting for power like he did last year.
right. And now, and you know, and we talked about this before, that how he doesn't like to bat third or fourth,
Yeah.
so we have him batting leadoff to make him comfortable, Pete.
And there's no one in front, no one on base when he gets up. So when he does hit a home run, it's a solo, and he's going around the bases doing
But
nothing.
they had Nunez leading off, and then they batted him second.
Yeah, but they won 11 out of 10 games, and they're 4.5 games up, and here we are trying to find the holes.
Well, no, there's a major hole. We will lose this season. We will be eliminated because of the offense. There's no question. It's not about the pitching. The pitching's been wonderful all year. The offense does not hit good pitching.
If you look around the major leagues, this is like the Sosa, Canseco, Bonds years.
Yeah.
People have Stanton is on pace to hit 72 home runs this year.
Yeah.
You know,
And he's
guys
on-
like
he's
Aaron
on
Judge
waivers.
coming out of
Right, yeah.
guys like Aaron Judge coming out of nowhere hitting 40.
They caught up to him, though.
But we have
Yes,
to
they
get
have.
3 hits to get a run. And everybody's complaining about the base running gaffes, they're calling them. But the fact is, to advance runners and to get runs, we have to take chances on the bases.
Yeah.
For all
Big
these
runs.
fast guys, young fast guys, and Benintendi, Betts, Nunez, I mean, they're all supposed to be faster than average. Why can't they get around? They're getting around the base like Daniel Nava, station to station.
Yeah, it's going to be a situation where is that going to end up costing us a playoff series?
I don't know, but I can't believe you didn't react to Daniel Nava being
I
mentioned.
don't know. Yeah. You know why?
As long as it's derogatory,
No,
you
but
don't
yeah,
like it.
because I'm bringing up Pablo, the biggest piece of tub of goo and crap of all time in the history of Boston sports. He's now up with his old team, the
Playing
San
the regular
Francisco
position.
Giants, and he ran into a home run or something against, I don't know, maybe even Scherzer or somebody against the Nationals. And so now he decided to open his big fat mouth and say, of course, that somehow he wasn't treated well in Boston and that he never felt comfortable
He
here.
wasn't comfortable like Carl Crawford or one of the
Right.
guys like that.
He looks pretty comfortable. He pull up an easy chair. That's what he looked
Yeah,
like. He
right.
looked-
Here's a
Looked
guy.
so comfortable.
Yeah.
Why won't they shut up when they leave here? And the fact is that other than me and a few of us, nobody booed him. Pablo Sandoval got a free pass in this
You're
town.
right. I agree with you. I think he had a really super long leash.
Right.
And he should be really grateful for
Well, I
that.
think that West Coast media does have a bone to pick with, like the Northeast. They like to egg on the Phillies, New York, Boston.
But
They
Joe,
like
it came
that.
out of his fat mouth, right? I mean, they didn't force it to him. He could have, he's been in the league a long time.
Yeah.
He didn't have to say that.
He signed for big money, and then he proceeded to do really dumb things.
Right.
You know?
Really lazy, stupid
Consistently.
things. Yeah.
Lazy, dumb,
Gain weight. I mean, this is your profession.
just stuff that you don't do. you
He
know?
couldn't even field his position anymore.
No, and that's what Dombrowski, and I have to hand it to Dave Dombrowski and, of course, Brookline's own Sam Kennedy. They came out this week and they let loose on that guy. And I don't know if you're really supposed to be talking about guys on other teams, right? I don't know.
Dombrowski bring him?
Well, they're not tampering
No,
because
no,
they don't
that's-
want him
See, that
back.
makes
No,
it a lot
no,
easier,
you're right, but-
because he wasn't his guy. Hey, I didn't bring him here.
Exactly, and he wanted to make everybody who might
I
have
might be the
forgotten-
president, but I'm not on the
I
baseball
wasn't here
side.
for that one.
Right, and that's a great point because he wanted to remind everyone. Because you can't forget. You can't forget. All right, so just if you're scoring at home, Ben Cherington brought in Hanley Ramirez and Pablo Sandoval. Dombrowski brought in Price. Just so if we're
Yeah.
accountability
If we're
here.
keeping score?
Yeah, if we're keeping score and when we're ripping on people.
I don't hate the Hanley deal.
You don't.
No,
I
think
do. I still hate it.
Yeah, but I think I thought he would bring he would segue into the Big Papi role this year a little better, a little easier. And that just didn't seem to take.
It's weird because
He
Hanley
can't hit. He's not hitting.
No,
for
but I mean,
average.
as far as taking over the clubhouse, he should have taken over that clubhouse, not David Price.
Right, but he's decided to phone it in. He's decided to give no effort because he's still a very talented
Which
player.
is unusual for him when he's in it.
Right.
No, he's got a history of being a dog going all the way back to the minor leagues. Hanley has been a dog on every team He's been kicked off every team he's ever been on.
No, but he wasn't a dog last year. Pete, right?
Yeah.
Right. Look, we talked about it. Russ was right.
He was a dog to start the year.
Yeah, right. Well, no, but last year,
Yeah.
the guy carried the team, and he had the most important home run against the Yankees,
Yeah.
right, for the season.
Yeah.
So no, I got to give Hanley credit where credit's due, and he has the ability to turn it on right now, and he could go for the next 2 or 3 weeks and carry this team
Yeah.
if he would like to.
That's what he's very capable of doing. When,
Yeah.
when he'll do nothing, and then all of a sudden he'll show up. He'll hit the button and decide to play.
And we've been blessed in this town with the Red Sox is that we've seen guys, the Mo Vaughns, the Big
Yeah.
Poppies, the Manny Ramirez's, and even like the Jose Cansecos, if you remember, they can carry a team offensively for 3 weeks.
But those guys all came to play almost every day. Hanley comes to play maybe 2 out of 5
Yeah,
days.
but the thing is, though, don't you feel like the thing is with Hanley is when he does bring his lunchbox, it's usually when they really need it.
Yeah,
You know?
right. Well, I mean, the statistics showed when Hanley Ramirez hits a home run, the Red Sox win, right?
Yeah.
And so, and look, this is a guy that still has great ability, and we need him. This team needs the home run production that he could bring. And
They need everybody to be firing, or they're in trouble.
Yeah.
Everybody.
They need more
Up
home
and
runs
down.
up and down that lineup.
Yeah,
And they
they
should be.
fire because Vasquez is firing. You know what I mean?
Right.
They don't. They can't afford anyone to take a day off, or they're in trouble. It seems like they all have to fire.
Well, that's it, like last night. They scored 8 runs in an inning. I think there was only 1 2-run hit.
No, they did. Yeah, yeah.
It was 1 run, 1 run.
Yeah.
That seems to be the way they score. Every game, it's they got to run this inning, then they got to run the 3rd inning and run in the 6th inning.
at the end of
and
the
they're
day-
up 3-2.
A W is a W.
And the triple play last night, that was fun. I was with
yes,
Maxie, and that was Maxie's first triple play to see. And that is just a fun play, right? No matter how many times you see it, right?
You don't see it that much. You
No.
see it more than you used to.
But that's a natural. That's what I call a natural triple play. Third to
Nunez,
second to first.
Nunez
right?
was ready for it. He just immediately went back, tagged that bag.
No, it was Devers.
Was-
Devers,
it was
yeah, it was
Devers.
Devers at third, yeah. All right, so,
It was Nunez at second.
so I'm going back in time because, we'll never get over truly 1986, the World Series. Will you ever truly get over it? There's a part of you, I know with Pete, there's just a part of you that's always changed since then. It just never, you've never.
It's an incomplete thing. Yeah.
It's never been the same for you. Just not as many smiles. And I had a flashback watching one Addison Reed soil himself in Yankee Stadium on Friday
What inning? I
and
missed
Sunday
that.
night. Literally, soiled himself.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. At first, I thought maybe it had been a different kind of rosin bag. Nope, he had soiled himself. And
Was this when the manager came out to
this
get?
was
And Friday night,
but
too.
Friday night when he spit a bit,
yeah.
and you could just see that this guy it was too big for him.
Something about New York City. How did he play for the Mets all
He
the
played for
time?
the Mets. He was a closer for the Mets. So he reminded me of Calvin Schiraldi. It was literally that scene again. You could tell this guy did not want to be on the mound, and nothing good was going to
Scott,
happen.
There's not enough of a sample for that.
Friday night, you could see it, and then
Yep.
Sunday, John Farrell, and we assumed that he knew the rules, right? That you couldn't.
And he just got a little overexcited and went out there to say,
Yeah, but he knew
"Stop it!"
He knew the count and everything.
It was 1-0 count. He knew that Carl Willis
But
had
he knew-
stumbled out there in a drunken stupor.
And
right?
told him
Carl
not to
Willis
throw
does
that
not
pitch.
go out to the mound without being told.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and he went out to that mound to tell him, do not throw low and away to this guy.
To Ellsbury.
And so what does Madison Reed do? And, Farrell
Throws a
Farrell
pitch.
goes, what the fuck? And he goes out.
Wait, what?
I know, no luck.
Yeah.
I know, I can't believe it.
And he made a fool of himself. And he made a fool of himself
He
doing
did,
it.
right. And so Farrell just reacts, right?
Yeah.
He just immediately goes out there, which, let's be honest, similar to replacing an outfielder during the inning because he screwed up one Reggie Jackson, if you
Yeah.
remember that. That's embarrassing
That's
to
showing
replace
up
a
the guy.
guy
It's
at
so embarrassing to do that to a pitcher.
one pitch after one pitch.
You can't get him out.
Oh, right, no, right. I'm sick of looking
I
at
have
you.
no faith. I have no faith in you. I'm done with you.
Right, and this is a guy. This was his fifth appearance
Yeah, so
on the team.
I'm gonna make you walk back to the dugout after you threw one pitch.
pitch,
Yeah.
right?
And then he got him out.
Yeah, right.
I don't even think he covered his face with the glove.
And then he couldn't take it while Holt was fielding the ball. Farrell was already out. Like, is the rules say I can take him out now? Right? And so you showed up your guy. So Farrell did how many bad things within like a 3-minute period?
That was pretty bad.
So we can.
But they talked.
Yeah, and remember, John Farrell is
We had
very
an adult
strong in the
conversation.
clubhouse.
Yeah.
Can we just stop that conversation right now about John Farrell's strength in the clubhouse? Can we just end that right now with what all the crap that we've seen from the Orioles, Dustin Pedroia stuff, to the David Price, Eckersley,
He's
to
got control of nothing.
nothing, right?
Well, I gotta say, anytime it looks like we're ready to hang him, string him up, that team responds for him.
Yeah, that's a great point.
But I don't
Joe.
think, are they responding
Every
to
time-
him, or are they just, rising above?
I don't know. It's happened at least a half dozen times that we had them out of town, run them out on a rail, and they go on a 6-game winning streak every time.
I just don't feel like I don't see John Farrell saying, "Boys, don't listen to the noise." The Belichickian type quotes that I just don't.
Oh yeah,
see him
it's a
doing
different cat than Belichick type.
No, but he got exposed in the Price Eckersley thing because what he did was remain silent.
He
and
hid.
that's the worst thing you could do.
Yeah, he hid.
He hid. And once you hide, then, right, we know the cats will play, right? And that's what they're doing right now. They're doing whatever they want to do.
Substitute teacher in the room.
And like you guys have mentioned before, this is a bad influence on the younger players, for which the team's very young.
Yeah.
All of them.
They're gonna say, this is the blueprint. This is how you treat your manager. Not good moving forward for the next manager. And let's be honest. Do you agree that if they don't go to at the very least, the championship series, that Farrell is gone?
Yeah, and it's.
I don't know. Hey, geez, a guy wins the division 2 years in a row, makes the playoffs 2 years in a row, and that kind of guy usually doesn't get fired.
Grady Little.
Yeah, but Grady, that was a very special situation where everyone in the world said, "What the hell is he doing?"
Yeah, but isn't everyone in the world saying,
I
was
think
John Farrell still the manager?
I think especially after this last one, I think people are saying, "Wait a minute, this guy maybe doesn't have the control that we think." But then again, neither do the players. They're just winning because they're winning, because they're getting the pitching finally.
It's a pretty good lineup too, all in all. For
Well,
all
it's
the
a young
complaining we
lineup.
do, it's a good young
he
lineup.
tinkers with it. He moves guys around.
The fact is, we should be very excited about the future, but nobody really
but we're
is
not.
talking about the
We
future.
never are.
Yeah.
Because it's the Patriots factor.
Yeah.
Because the Patriots have created such a aura in this town of success and excellence, right? We're really not interested in watching the guys grow up anymore, right? We want to see the big boys play at all times.
Yeah, but with the Red Sox, we always like our rookies.
We do, but I'm saying we want
The phenoms.
them to win the World Series this year. We expect them to win the World Series this year.
I don't know if we.
Anything
Well, no,
else?
That's the Tom Brady thing.
Right.
Anything less is not satisfactory.
So you're going to be happy if they win one division series and say there was a good year?
Well, I'd rather they won the World.
No, you're going to be happy.
Yeah.
You're going to be fine and content moving them.
Oh, I don't know, but probably not.
No, we're not. No, because that's where we are.
Yeah,
Well,
the
who do
Celtics
they
have
have to go through?
have cornered the market on hope.
Right.
Is the Celtics have cornered the market?
No,
on
but the
that.
NBA is that's the hierarchy. That's you have to jump those steps. You can't jump completely like MLB teams do.
Well, do they have the meat to go through Cleveland?
The Boston Red
Maybe.
Sox have the pitching to win a World Series. They have probably better pitching than they did in 2013. Would you say than they do now to win a World Series?
A team that had John Lester.
Well, no,
on it.
other than John Lester. But seriously, do you think they have better pitching now than they have in 2013?
I think they have consistent pitching now.
Yeah.
More consistent pitching.
I think they have more consistent pitching now, but they don't have the playoff horses that 13 had in Lackey and Lester.
Well, we'll see.
Those competitive guys, you mean?
Yeah,
Well,
very,
Chris Sale.
very competitive guy.
Nobody's more competitive than Chris Sale.
I
Yeah,
agree
but
with you,
we're
but
not-
let's see.
he's not in
Chris,
the conversation.
Chris Sale has never played in the postseason. Let's see how a very long season. They're really using him a lot. He's going to the 7th, 8th, even 9th inning every time out. It's not just appearances.
Yeah.
He's getting a lot
Has he
of
ever
innings.
been in the postseason?
Is he?
No,
you know,
I don't think he has. With the White Sox,
He's
probably
kind
not.
of lean.
No, he never has. He's never been in the postseason.
Look, this is hopefully going to be the coming out party for Erod. He's the guy who just has talent up the yin yang,
He
right?
is kind of the missing link, isn't
Yeah.
he? He's
I mean, he's throwing
He's the wild card, yeah.
He spots 95 miles an hour as a lefty.
Yeah.
And we
When
know
he-
those guys
when
get
he's
guys
on,
out.
he's a very dangerous man.
Yeah, so he's the guy that could carry us with Sale.
He has to learn to pitch a lot more efficiently. He's always got 100 pitches in the 5th inning.
Yeah, and his lapses are just giant.
Yeah, he's still so young, and left-handed pitchers you gotta be patient.
Lester
with those
was
guys.
the same way.
Oh, my
Exact same way.
God.
He was terrible. He was out 100 pitches in the 3rd inning, and they had to pull him.
Well, Johnny Boy used to not be able to get his wind-up straight sometimes.
But how valuable is it at this stage of Erod's career to be sitting next to Chris Sale every night?
Oh my God, yeah.
Every night.
Yeah, right. And then maybe you want to get David Price out the door because how invaluable it is having David Price there too.
Yeah.
David, you want to go over there? The buffet's hot, and then we got all your special foods that you like.
Astros in the back.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
The Red Sox bring in the Hanley Ramirez and David Price veterans, whereas the Patriots bring in the David Harrises, the guys that are good, good veterans.
Chris Long.
Yeah.
They understand what
The role.
clubhouse
The
is. Yeah,
role.
exactly. Right. And these guys contribute. They're going to give. They know.
Yeah.
They'll protect the edge like Chris Long did. All right. So we're going to go to the Patriots, and after the first preseason game, guys. My love for Jimmy G just grows. It grows leaps and bounds. And when you watch Jimmy G, you realize he's legit.
Yeah.
And Tommy B, one Brookline zone. He doesn't need to be worried about this year. But 2 years down the line, it's going to be Jimmy G's team.
What is Jimmy G doing here?
What do you mean, what is he doing here?
No,
He's the successor
he
to the
holds the
throne.
clipboard.
He's the successor to the throne. So why can't you see that?
No, I'm just trying to understand your thought process, and that is that Jimmy G right now is supposed to be your starter, but Tom screwed it all up by winning the Super Bowl.
No. Jimmy G is going to be your starter in 2 years, and that's very exciting. If we can get another Super Bowl out of Tom Brady, awesome. But Jimmy G is the future. He's the one who's going to move this team forward.
The pieces to the puzzle aren't locking in perfectly because Tom doesn't say, I'm going to play 5 more years just to say it.
He doesn't say 5 more years. He says 15 more years.
Yeah.
He says to 55.
But Tom never misses a play. They gave Garoppolo the keys to the car, and he was out.
Oh, no, but you
In the
watch
second game.
the exhibition game, and you realize this guy's a legitimate. You know what a legitimate NFL quarterback looks like, and that's Jimmy G.
Jesus, I didn't think he was that great, Scott.
Oh my!
Well, to be fair, 40 of the 90-man roster, and of course the 40 that didn't play were all the first team and the second team. He was left with the third team scrubs.
Pete, he made all the throws. That guy, the kid can make all the throws.
Is he better than Tannehill?
Oh my God, tons better than Tannehill.
Well, Tannehill had in the game that Jimmy got hurt, where he was so good in that first quarter. Tannehill was just as good in the second half. Remember, he almost beat us.
Tannehill does not. It's all about
Why is he better?
pocket presence, and you can't teach that stuff. And would you agree that Jimmy G has remarkable pocket presence for a guy who really hasn't played that much in the NFL?
I think he's got a little bit of the happy feet. He starts to move out before he really needs to.
Because he throws well on the run too. That's a
Yes,
strength
yeah.
like Aaron Rodgers does. And Elman compared Jimmy G to Aaron Rodgers.
Well, that was a lot because of the Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Garoppolo.
Yeah. Steve Young, Joe Montana.
Yeah.
But Garoppolo's not Aaron Rodgers, and he's not Steve Young.
Well, we don't know what he is yet.
He could be better than Steve Young.
He's at the very least, he's Tony Romo, which is they went to the same school.
Yeah.
So that
Tony Romo?
Yeah, well, at the very least. I'm just talking about the low end.
I'm not loving that idea.
The king of the fourth quarter interception.
Well, that's just semantics. At the very least, he's Tony Romo. Which gets you into the playoffs, and you see what happens from there.
And
I'm
you
saying the
fumble the
least.
snap.
So you're saying he's a suitable guy to manage the team in a game for the future.
At the very
But you're
least,
talking
the Patriots will be competitive the next 5 to 7 years with Jimmy G at the helm.
Yeah, but you've got him in Canton for crying out loud.
No, I don't.
He
Yeah.
hasn't played 6 quarters in the NFL.
No, but you don't
In a
find
real
that
game, he's playing against 2s and 3s.
So you just want to. But that's
No,
always
I like
the
him. He's
mistake
a
that
nice
you make.
He's a nice quarterback, but you've got him for crying out loud. He hasn't played enough in the league.
Oh my God.
Well, there must be something to
Is
it.
he better than Carson Wentz?
Absolutely, yes.
I don't know, but
What about
Belichick seems
Dalton?
to think so.
Belichick, right? and Bill, we
They're
trust.
turning down every offer for him.
I'm
So
sure they got 2 number 1 picks. An offer for 2
That's
number
what
1
I'm
picks.
saying. That's my question to you is why isn't he in Cleveland right now?
Because they believe he will be the next quarterback of the New England
So they
Patriots.
And
know
he's good enough
something
to do that.
nobody knows because the Patriots don't do anything without thinking 5 steps ahead.
Yeah, and this whole crap that they want to keep him on the team because they want a quality backup quarterback is crap. They want Jimmy G because they think he's going to be the future of the franchise.
They went the last 10 years without a quality backup. Ryan Mallett's and
Right. Damon Hewards, Brian Hoyers.
Brian Hoyers, real crap. They were quality backups. So why all of a sudden did they decide
Yeah, but
they need
nobody
one?
had quality backups.
But they didn't even have a third quarterback on the roster.
Yeah, and they went with just 2 on most of those years.
Right.
With the real crappy backup.
They'd be willing to play Edelman as quarterback, right? Before even bringing somebody in, if you remember from last year. They had Edelman as the backup. They don't want to bring these guys into the system, and that very well may be why they get rid of Brissett. They don't want that many quarterbacks.
Brissett, and now I know it was an exhibition game, but who can't throw a 20-yard ball in the end zone at the end for all the marbles? All you got to do is it's a jump ball.
Oh, that one
let's
he
face
heaved
it.
out of the end zone?
He threw it out. How can you throw a ball out? You're a professional quarterback. High
Yeah.
schoolers can.
Yeah.
I can get a kid from Foxborough High to do that.
Right?
Yeah.
Not from Brookline, I know. And he may have to run it in. But, yeah, I mean, you're right. I think the problem with Brissett is that every throw he throws is 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
He really has no touch to it. And
Yeah, but that's part of not getting reps, though. But you should be able to put one in the end zone from
Right.
20 yards out.
But it feels like a little IR for Jacoby,
It
right?
is, yeah.
A little injury reserve.
Yeah.
Kind of, you bury him for another year and see if he figures it out next
Well,
year.
they must have liked him too because they took him on all the road trips and they kept him through the playoffs, even though he was on IR. Usually, when you're on IR, they say, "Go home and think about it."
So is it fair for us as Patriots fans to be waiting for Tom Brady, who's the best player that ever played, to fail?
No,
That's
we're
what
not
we're doing.
waiting. We've seen this stuff with the Celtics, Larry Bird and Kevin McHale. We've seen aging teams, and what happens
Well, Larry
after
got-
that is very dark.
Larry got hurt, though.
No, but all of them got old and injured. Well, I mean, of course, that's what happens when you get older. And we see that those years after that, it's very difficult to
And
get.
a lot of them,
They
especially
weren't using the bands.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
But a
well,
lot
they
didn't
didn't
have Guerrero.
Yeah.
If they had Guerrero.
sometimes they realize they know they've lost it and they call it quits. You see it. Half of them can do it. Half of them can't give it up.
Right, but it's not right after winning the Super Bowl and the MVP of the league.
Yeah.
No, right. No, but remember,
I
keep
can't
this.
believe I'm defending Tom Brady.
You're not defending. We're talking about the future here. The future is
Years
Jimmy.
from now.
You're saying the
Not-
future is now. With Jimmy G.
I think the year.
Oh no, not now.
No, not right now. But I think it's 2 years from now. I think Jimmy G will be the starting quarterback of the New England Patriots, and I think.
No,
Tom
that
Brady-
could be fair.
Yeah, right. All right. So,
Could be.
do you remember AJ?
Grudgingly.
Remember AJ Derby? He was the
Grudgingly.
flavor of the training camp last year. AJ Derby. Then we ended up trading him to Denver.
He's still with Denver
Inexplainable, but
for a 5th-round pick.
yeah. But now all of a sudden we have another AJ Derby in this Hollister kid.
Wow. Yeah.
Well, they scouted Hollister heavily. They gave him, other than Lange, the second most money of any undrafted free agent in the whole NFL.
So now, of course, that's what we had to watch because, exhibition games are so boring. So now everybody falls in love with Hollister, right? From Wyoming, nice story.
And
Tall
the other kid, too. The other kid that
And his
grabbed
twin
the
brothers
news.
on the team,
Yes,
too.
twin brother. Right, exactly. So does Hollister stay? Because it sure looks like.
Not the brother.
Right, no, right, but looks like this kid would.
There are going to be some cuts, hard cuts on this team this year that other people are just waiting for.
Yeah.
There's going to be some. He always keeps. There's going to be 5, 6 new guys. There's always 5 or 6 new guys each year. He's got to keep the continuation going.
But there has to be
He
hard
won't- he
cuts
won't-
to get them on there.
Yeah.
Freeney's gone. Bolden's gone. Richards is gone.
He loves
Cyrus
Bolden.
Jones is gone. At the very least, those 4 guys are pretty big names. I think and then I think Fleming will go too. So there's 5 guys from
Wow.
the team from last year. But we got to go, boys. Thank the boys, of course. Want to thank everyone behind the scenes. Of course, the lovely and talented Adrian. Please check us out on our website at thegrandstanders.com. And tune in again in 2 weeks. We'll be taking the week off because Big's closing up for the week. 2 weeks. Please come back on Wednesday night at 6:30 for another Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman. Have a great and happy night.
No thanks to Handsome Charles.
No. Hey.
I'm Scott Kerman. Have a great and happy night. The elephants are in town.
Here comes the circus.